Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome to today's Java class. Okay, so yeah, so there are still people joining. So we will, for first 2 to 3 minutes, we will discuss. We will revise whatever has been discussed in yesterday's class. Okay, yes. And if there is any problem, please intimate me regarding my voice or connectivity. Please intimate me through chat. Okay, so let us continue. As I hope you are able to see my screen. Okay, so yesterday we saw a little bit of Java, like what we have about Java. Why do we call Java as platform independent? Because we can use this Java programming language to develop application for any platform, like it can be any operating system, for any operating system like Java. Okay, any operating system like Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Ubuntu. You can use Java on anywhere. That's why we call Java as a platform independent language. Okay, so then we went on and saw a little bit of history. It was first developed by Sun Microsystems, then Oracle acquired this Java, okay, and so on. Okay, so then we went on and see what is bytecode. Okay, so how Java uses bytecode so that it can achieve platform independency, right? So then, like you can see, we have went on and we were comparing what is JDK, JRE, and JVM yesterday, right? So we even compared these three and see. Okay, so I hope you all are able to go through the notes and understand. Okay, so what okay, so if you like, if you want to follow every day and like learn nicely, so what I recommend is make a pen and paper notes of whatever the notes I am giving here, right? I am daily giving the PDF, right? So just make a pen and paper notes of your own Java notes and copy all this. Okay, so see, read whatever I have written. Okay, so just filter a little bit of non-useful data if you want, and try to take all the definitions. Okay, so important points, comparisons. Okay, so syntax, whatever I give, if you like, if you have a written copy of your, okay, so you can have it for reference in future. It will be very much useful. Okay, so what I have C language notes which are I think 6 to 7 years old even now. I refer to them even now. Okay, so these online documents you might have, you might lose, you might have confusion. You cannot go to that specific topic. Like if I want to know about strings, you can just scroll through the pages and go and learn about strings. Okay, so you can prepare for interviews easily. Okay, so that's why I recommend all of you to have a copied notes of my notes which I am giving on the PDF. Okay, so just spare you a little bit of time whenever you sit and write. What you do normally do is all the concepts is being, what I have thought is being again revised. Okay, so you will get revision. You might also get any new doubts which you did not got in the class. You can also ask in the next class. Okay, so you can also have your notes and everything. Okay, so just that is the small suggestion from my side to you to follow. Okay, so given that we have discussed about Java development kit, Java runtime environment, and virtual machine. Okay, so we will now go and see what we have for today's class. Okay, So in today's class, we basically start with data types. Okay, so like you can see, we have variables in Java, right? So in variables, we can store data. Okay, so we normally store different types of data in Java in those variables, and we have classified those data types into certain branches. Okay, so we have character type of data, which has all the characters. Okay, so how do we understand what are characters? Let's say this A, B, C, D, this all the alphabets are characters. Okay, all the symbols like dollar symbol, okay, so like percentage symbol, all these are called as characters. Okay, so all these characters come under the broad classification called as char. Okay, so that is number one. Then we have the second type, which is integer. Okay, so integers are normally numbers. Look, we have 1, 2, 3. Okay, for any number. Okay, so all these are called as integers. After integer, we have floating point. Okay, so what are floating point? Floating points are normally decimal numbers. Okay, so what are decimal numbers? We have 1.23. Okay, so this is a decimal number. Okay, all the decimal numbers in the programming language, we call them as floating point number. Okay, so then we also have the fourth type, which is Boolean. Okay, so what is Boolean? Booleans are normally a data type which can have only two types of values, which is either true or false. Okay, so whenever we use this for conditions. Okay, so Boolean type, like if there is an integer, it can have any number ranging from 1 to any infinity. Okay, so but these Boolean numbers, they have only two values, which are either true or false. Okay, so that is the one thing. Okay, so then let us go further and see what the sub classification we have about all this. Okay, so let me clear all this and see character. Okay, so first let us deal with integer. Okay, so in integer in Java, we have four types, which are byte, short, and int, and long. Okay, so these all four are keywords. Okay, so whenever you are defining an integer type of variable, you have to use this keyword. You can use byte, short, int, and long. Okay, so these are four are an integer type. Okay, so but what is the difference? The size for each one is different. Okay, so byte has only 1 byte of size. As you can see, I have already mentioned in here. In byte, we only have 1 byte, whereas short has 2 bytes. Okay, integer has 4 bytes, and whereas long has 8 bytes of data. Okay, so now what is byte? Normally in the variables are stored in machine language, right? So how does a machine language looks like? As you can see, it normally looks like 1001110. Okay, this is what we have about machine language. Yes, so but in machine language, each and every position is referred to as a byte. Okay, each and every position in machine is referred to as byte. Okay. So yes, okay. So we normally in machine language, we normally call each and every position. Okay, so that position can either be a 1 or it can be a 0. That is called as a bit. Sorry, it is not a byte. We call it as a bit. Okay. So normally when we have 8 bits of information, these 8 bits are combined and we form it as a byte. Okay, so 8 bits are combined for us to form a byte. Okay, so normally because we are having this, okay, so I hope it is clear for you now what is byte, because we store all this data in the computer, and computer only works in ones and zeros. So computer only stores data in bytes. Okay, so like if you are going out to bring water, we cannot have bring water in kgs, right? It is normally measured in liters only. Okay, the same thing in computers memory. Okay, it is measured in bytes. So each and every data in computers memory is in byte. Okay, so this byte data has only 1 byte of memory. Because it has only 1 byte of memory, it has specified range, which means that it can store numbers only from -128 to +127 only. Okay, that means that you cannot have any bigger number than 127 and any smaller number than -128 stored in a variable which is byte. Okay, so that is its range. Okay, so then we have short. Okay, short has 2 bytes. It can store this. This is the range. Okay, 32,768. Ranges are also important. Please just try to remember them. Okay, so then we have integer. Okay, so integer is because it is having 4 bytes. It can have large amount of data. That's why it can store numbers which are like, I think, 21 2 lakhs 2 crores 14 lakhs 74,000 and so on. Okay, so that means that you can store value ranging up to 2 crores in an integer, and then even if you want any bigger number, we also have long. Okay, so it name itself suggests that it is long. It can store data up to 8 bytes. Okay, so 8 byte means multiply 8 into 8, it is 64 bits of information. Okay, so 64 bits of information give you this big number. Okay, you can save this big number in your computer. Okay, so this is what we have about 4 integer type. Okay, so then we have floating point. Okay, so what is floating point number? Floating point number is a number which is used to store decimal values, right? So just in order to store decimal values, we use floating point number. We have 2 types of floating point data types. Number 1 is float and number 2 is double. Okay, so float is basically 4 bytes of memory, whereas double is 8 bytes of memory. Okay, so here, like you can see, the value for float is here. It can store 6 to 7 significant decimal digits. Okay, let's say if I have 2.356. Okay, so these are called as decimal digits. This number has only 3 decimal digits. Okay, so this normal floating point number, floating point data type can store decimal digits up to 7. Okay, so that means that you can have these numbers up to going up to 7. Okay, so if your requirement is little higher, then we can also use this double data type, which can have 15 significant decimal digits. Okay, so it's range goes on increasing. Okay, so that is what we have about float, and we also have about double. Okay, so then we have this next thing is character. Okay, so it is used to store all the characters. It is normally of 2 types, 2 bytes, and this is the range in the form of bits. Okay, so it is normally in the form of bits. That means that it can store any character whose bits range up to 65,536. Okay, so that is unsigned. Okay, so then we have Boolean. As I have told you, Boolean is normally true or false. Okay, so it only stores true or false. That's why it does not require any memory. Okay, so it ranges true or false only, and default value for it is false. Okay, by default, if I don't have, let's say if I have Boolean type variable called as a, the default value for Boolean type variable is false. Okay, even this has been asked as an interview type question. Okay, just please remember that the default value for Boolean type of variable is false. Okay, then we have every float value. We have a question from Pratyusha asking that every float value is a double. One second. Every float value is a double value. One second. Yes, every float every float value is a double value. Yes, you can have. Okay, so because it has only 4 bytes of memory. Okay, so any byte value. Okay, so it can be a, but it is, as you have said, we cannot merge both. Okay, so let's say I have a data type declared as, like, let me write here as double. I have declared it as double A. Okay, so this A variable is of double type, right? So that means that it can have which are floating point of number, it can have double point of number. Okay, so because this is a bigger type, it includes all the thing. Okay, so you can have numbers with decimal values up to 15 places. Okay, so that is why you can also say, if some statement has been given, like you have said, like every float value is a double value, yes, you can go on and say yes on it, because double value also includes all the floating values. Okay, there is no doubt. Okay, so then let us go and see the next what we have. Okay, so then we have something which I have missed earlier. Okay, so this has to be discussed in previous class only, like how to set up the Java environment. Okay, so by now I think most of you have tried to install Java and are also installing Java programs, or also trying to run Java programs on your computer. Okay, so but there is certain procedure you have to follow. Okay, so first of all, you have to download Java. Okay, so how are we going to download Java? Step number 1, I have already given you the link for Java, which is this link. Okay, so just copy this link for my document. If anyone of you hasn't downloaded this Java, okay, for them, please use the link I have provided. And download whatever has been given. Okay, so we have float values. Okay, then we have something from Shiva. He's saying that float values aren't double values, but double values are float. Out of I don't think where from whether you have this from internet. or whether you are asking, I am not clear about that. But just please remember that float and double both are for decimal values, and the bigger one of them is double. Okay, just double includes all the float values. Okay, so that is double is the super case. Okay, superset of float. Okay, so that is the simple thing you have to remember. Okay, then so here just download the Java software. For anyone who hasn't downloaded the Java software, please download your Java software from here. Okay, so it is normally normally most of your systems are either 32-bit or 64-bit. Okay, so if your system is 32-bit, okay, so most of us use Windows only. So go to Windows. Okay, so go to this window button, and if you have a 32-bit PC, okay, so then download this x86. Okay, so this is for 32-bit computers, and if you are a 64-bit computer, download this one. Okay, so just download, and whenever it is being downloaded, go to the download folders, and when you install, the Java folder will be installed on your computer. Okay, so this is the step number 1, where you have to download and install Java on the computer. But there is also one more thing you have to do once you have completed installing your Java. Okay, so simply installing Java will not complete the process. We also have to set up the path. Okay, so how are we going to set up the path? Okay, so each and every computer we have to set environment variable. Okay, so just if you want to set environment variable, once the installation is done, okay, just go to your my computer and click on right click and go to properties. Okay, once you go to properties, okay, so here we have everything. Okay, this is the interface how it looks in Windows 10 or Windows 11. Okay, so if it is Windows 7 or 8, it might differ, but every way there we have this button called as advanced system setting. Okay, just click on that advanced system setting, you can see this. Okay, this is the same for Windows 7, 8 and everything. Okay, so just go to this by right clicking and going on properties and go to advanced system setting. I have given you all the process in my file. Okay, right click on my computer, go to properties, and then we have to go on click here, this called as environment variable. Okay, so whenever you click on environment variable, here we have this our computer's different environment variable. In this environment variable, we have a new variable called as path. Okay, so just go on that path and click on this edit button. Okay, so once you click on this edit button, okay, so what you have to do is where do we have this? Okay, so we have to change the path of that whatever path has been entered, because I have already changed. Okay, so here just click on this path and edit. There is already this path which I have given you. Okay, so I have already Java installed on my computer, so I already have. Okay, so if you are not going to have this, just click on this new. Okay, so whenever you click on this new, you can have new thing here coming. Okay, so here see program files, common files. Okay, so what are you going to copy here? Okay, so here just go to my computer, go to C and go to program files. Okay, and where do we have it? Program files. One second, let me find where do I have Java installed. Okay, one second. Yeah, so here I have. Okay, so whenever you install Java, okay, so that Java will be installed on your C drive, point number. Okay, so where it is going to be installed on C drive, you have to go. Normally for my computer it has been installed on C drive. Then in program files x86, inside that I have this folder called as common files. Inside that I have this folder called as Oracle. Here I have this folder called as Java. Okay, so what you have to do, as you can see, there is also Java path. So you have to just copy, click on in here and copy all this path. Okay, copy whatever the path we have for Java. Okay, so what I am doing here, once I install Java, the Java is being a new Java folder is created in my C drive, right? So I have to copy the wherever my Java folder is created. Okay, so what I will do, I have to copy this. Okay, so I have just press on Control C and now go back here and click on new and paste this in here. Okay, so whenever I paste this, you will have this. Okay, so right now because I have already, I don't want to mess with my computer, so I will not paste this, and just paste this and click on okay. Okay, so once you click on okay, like here I have this new path variable, the new path variable will be created. Okay, so once this is done, this means that the process for setting my path is done. Okay, so this is the process how you have to set path for your Java. Okay, so you have to install Java, you have to also set. How are you going to set your path? Go to my computers, click on properties, click on environment variables, go to advanced tab. Okay, to go to path and change your path wherever the path Java is installed on your C. Copy that path on the environment and click OK. So once that is done, that means that the path has been set and Java is ready to be run on your computer. Okay, so this is the next thing you have to do. Okay, so once you have installed Java and you have also set up path, you need, because you have to run program, right? So if you want to run program, you also need Java editor. Okay, so Java as in a software is different as Java as an editor, right? So to write programs, we need an editor. So we have many Java editors available in the market. So you can use any one of them of the following which I have mentioned. Okay. The first one is Notepad. Okay, so on every Windows machine, we have a Notepad. Okay, so you can write all your program on the Notepad. Okay, so save that and run it using command prompt. Okay, so if for anyone who is new, what I will do is I will just run my program on Notepad for once so that you understand. Okay, so what I will do is, yes, let me just copy a program. Just what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate how to write a program in Java and execute it using in Java program in Notepad and execute. Okay, so what I normally have is I write programs in here. Okay, so go to my computer and go to PC, and you can create it anywhere. Okay, so what I will do is here I have many programs. So here I will create a new Notepad file. Okay, so whenever you want a new Notepad file, go to that folder where you want that new Notepad file, click on new. Okay, and take this text document. Okay, so here, okay, we have Rikita, we have a pending doubt from Rikita, like MATLAB installation. I don't remember how MATLAB is installed. Okay, so and there is no path setting also. If there is path setting, yes, it is same as MATLAB. Okay, so yes, then okay, so what I have done is I have created this new text document, right? So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to write this whole program. Okay, so I have this add two numbers which we have discussed earlier. First, what is the first thing I have? I have a public class in my program. Inside that I have this main method. Okay, so this main method. Okay, so let me just have some indent inside this main method. I have two integer type variables. The first number is 5, second number is 15, then the third variable is sum. I am adding this and I'm just printing this. Okay, so now what I have to do is the important thing I have mentioned earlier is the name of your main class should be same as the name of your file. Okay, so because it should be same, what I'm going to do is yes, say okay, let us deal with the doubt. Okay, yes, the same thing. You have to paste the link from different folder. Yes, not from different folder, but the folder which has Java installation, right? Once you install Java, we will have the Java folder. We have to paste the link of that Java folder. Okay, so then only the same thing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I will save this as this file as name which has add two numbers. Okay, so what I will do is I will create file. I will create. Okay, I will say file and save as. Okay, so now here what I will do is I will give the same number which is add two numbers. Okay, we already have the file. Okay, so what I will do is I will give add two numbers 2.java. Okay, so just I have written add two numbers 2.java. Here you have to select all files so that it will update and take all files. It will take Java file and click on save. Okay, so because I have given R2 numbers, I will also change the name of this my class. Okay, so you have to just understand that the name of your class and name of your file should be same. Okay, so now that I have completed writing program, now I have to run my program. Okay, so before running, just save this and close this. Okay, so you have, when you have to run, okay, so just go on a Windows button and search for command prompt. Okay, so every Windows computer has command prompt installed. Okay, so just type command in your window and just open this command prompt will be open. Okay, so now you have to go wherever you have installed, you have written your program. My program is inside my D drive, so that's why I have written D. Then I will write, then I have to go to my folder called as Java. So I will change my folder from D to Java. Okay, so now where am I? I am D, inside D and Java. Okay, so let me just show you where is this what was that? Add two numbers program. This add two numbers program is in my computer in D and inside this Java program, right? So you have, if you want to execute, you should also go from here. Okay, so just go from here, local disk D and Java. Okay, so in this command prompt also you should be at the same address. And right now I am at the same address. So now let me just run this. So if I have to compile, I have to write Java C and then name of the program, add two numbers dot Java. Okay, and then press enter. Okay, so once I press enter, okay, so as you can see, if there is no message, that means that your program has been compiled successfully and a class object has been created. Okay, so now but you won't be able to see the output. If you want to see the output, you have to also run. Okay, so when you want to run, you have to change that command from Java C to Java. Okay, so just write Java and give a space and write add two numbers. Okay, so whenever you write like this and press enter, as you can see, some of these numbers is 20. This is the output, like 10 plus 10 I have given two numbers. Then what is the output? Addition of 10 plus 10 is 20. So I am able to see the output. Okay, so this is whole process of how we have to write Java program. First we have step number one, you have to download Java. Okay, then step number two, we have to set up the path. Step number three, you should also need an editor. Okay, so typing in Notepad is normally clumsy and is time taking. So you can also have another editors for Java, which are NetBeans, Eclipse and VS Code. Okay, so link for downloading each one of them has been provided in this document, which I will share after the class. Okay, you can download any one of them as per your convenience, but mostly I am going to use this one. Okay, so this is Visual Studio Code, which is VS Code. Okay, so there is nothing new if you want to install. Okay, so just go to the link I have provided. Okay, and then install Java. Okay, so once install Visual Code if you want, and once you install Visual Code, if say that you want, you have to also install Java extension for VS Code. Okay, it's simple. You have to click next. You will also install Java extension. Once you install Java extension, you will be able to run your Java program on Visual Studio Code. Okay, so this is the whole process you have to follow for your computer to be able to run Java programs. Okay, if anyone has any doubt regarding installation or writing program, they can please ask right now before we go further and see whatever we have for today's class. Okay. Yes. And the next thing is I want everyone to be ready, because we will be discussing programs and you have to practice all these programs by yourself, right? If you want to practice, please have your computer Java ready and run all your programs on your computer. Okay, so that is the one thing. Okay, seems like we don't have doubts and we can proceed. Okay, so the next thing we are going to see here is the basic operators in Java. Okay, so each and every programming language has operators. Okay, so similarly Java also has operators. Okay, so what are operators? Operators are normally used in Java programming language or any programming language to do operations. Okay, so in program statements we do different types of we use statements. In that statement we also do operations. Okay, so those operations are normally done by these operators. Okay, so normally we have 6 types of operators being discussed in our class. The first type is arithmetic operators. Okay, so what are arithmetic operators? Arithmetic operators are used in mathematical expression. Okay, whenever you have any expression related to mathematics, we are going to use arithmetic operators. In the same way they are used in algebra. Algebra is the same as we use in maths. The following is the list of arithmetic operators. Okay, so what we are going to do is, let us see what do we have here. The first arithmetic operator is plus. Okay, so plus is addition. Okay, it adds the value on either side. Okay, so let's say here we have two variables. The value of A is 10 and the value of B is 3. Okay, so now what happens is, now I use this operator called as A plus B. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm using this addition operator on these two operands. Okay, so this A and B are operands. We normally call them as operands. Okay, so normally whatever operation you do, the on whatever variables, those variables are referred to as operands. Okay, then whenever I write A is A plus B, this plus operator is going to give me normally 13 because it will add A and B, it will give you 13. Okay, so then I have this A minus B. Okay, this is called a subtraction operator. This subtraction operator will subtract 10 from 3 and it will give me 7. Okay, so then we have this multiplication. Multiplication will multiply. Okay, one second. Multiplication will multiply A and B. And this multiplication operator will multiply A and B, and what is the result? It will give me 10 3 is 30. Okay, then I have this division. Okay, so whenever you divide A and B, what are you going to get? We are going to get 3. Okay, so the result will be 3 if your result is an integer type. Okay, so if your result is a floating type, let's say, then the result is going to be 3.3. Okay, so normally what is A by B? Okay, so A by B is 3.3, but integer type variables cannot take decimal values, right? So if it is an integer, you won't get the 0.3 decimal values. You will only get 3, but if it is a floating point, then you are going to get the whole. Okay, whole 3.3 numbers. Okay, so if you divide this 10 and 3 using an integer number, then you are going to have loss of data. Okay, so this is also called as loss of data during programming. Okay, so now let us have the next operator, which is modulus. Okay, we also call it as modulus or modulo division. It is normally a percentage symbol, but in programming we don't call it as percentage. It is a modulus division. Okay, so what happens is, here whenever you have A modulo divided by B, okay, so what it will do is it will return you the remainder. Okay, so what just to remind you everybody, so whenever you are going to divide 10 by 3, okay, so we have 3 in here. We used to keep this bracket like this. We used to write 10 like this. Then what is like we have 3 3s are 9, and then we have 1 as remainder. Okay, so this is called as remainder and this is called as quotient. Okay, so this division operator normally gives us this quotient, whereas this modulo division operator gives us remainder. Okay, so this is the same thing which we have in C language. Okay, so nothing new. Anyone who is aware of this in C, it is same. Anyone who hasn't, who don't know, just please understand this is division and this is modulo division. Division gives you the quotient, modulo division gives you the remainder. Okay, so that's why whenever I write A modulo division by B, I am going to get the result as 1. Why? Because whenever I divide 10 with 3, what is going to the remainder? The remainder is going to be 1. That's why the output will be 1. Okay, whenever in your program, if you have a requirement to work with remainder, you are going to use this modulo division operator. Okay, so then we have this increment operator. This normally looks like this. Okay, it normally looks like A plus plus. Okay, so what happens is, whenever I write this A plus plus statement, what is value of my A? The value of my A is 10, right? So now the new value of A value, the new value of my A is going to become 11. Okay, so instead of 10, its value is being incremented by 1. Okay, so whenever if you want to increment the value of variable by 1, you are going to use this operator called as increment operator. The same is with decrement operator. It is A minus minus. Now whenever we write A minus minus, A value from 10 it is going to become 9. Okay, so this is what we have about increment and decrement. Okay, all these combined are called as arithmetic operator. Arithmetic operators, in arithmetic operators we have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus, increment and decrement operator. Okay, so I hope I am clear with Anybody has any doubt, they can ask. Okay, then going further, we have the next type of operator, which is relational operator. Okay, so then we have a doubt from Kalyani. She is asking me to repeat modulo division. Okay. So what happens is, as Kalyani has asked, whenever we have we use modular division is similar to normal division. Okay, so there is nothing new. Okay, so let's see. If I modulo divide 10 with 3, I am going to get 3 as answer. Whereas if I modulo divide, I am going to get 1. Okay, so I hope you are able to see my screen in here. Okay, so why are we getting 1 in here? Because this is how we normally used to do the division, right? We have 3 in here, we have 10 in here. Okay, so now we used to count the table of 3 3 1s are 3 3 2s are 6 3 3s are 9. So nearest value is 3 3s are 9. So that's why we will write 9 and we will subtract 10 and 9, we will get 1. So this is the remainder. Okay, so this is called as the remainder, right? So this modulo division will give you the remainder. Okay, so whereas the normal division will give you the quotient. Okay, that is what we have. Okay, the simple division. Okay, so if you want to have quotient of 2 operands, you have to use simple division operator, and if you want to have remainder, then you have to use modular division operator. Okay, so 3 answer is from this quotient, whereas this 1 answer is from this remainder. Okay, yes. Then we have the next doubt is from Manasa. She is asking from a plus plus and plus plus x. Yes, so there are as we have seen, there are 2 types of increment and decrement also. As you can see, she has written a plus plus and plus plus, right? So they are called as pre-increment and post-increment, right? So these are normally very small changes. Okay, so they normally have small changes. What is the difference if you ask is first in, okay, let me have these notes so that everybody can see. Okay, so what I will do is I will go. Okay, so here we have a doubt from Manas. Okay, so she is asking a plus plus. Okay, so it is just capitalizing, neglect that, and a plus plus. Okay, so we also have plus plus. Okay, so these 2 are different. Yes, these 2 are different. The first one is called as post increment and the second one is called as pre increment. Okay, so what happens is, let's say if I write here, just for sake of syntax, if I write here print a plus plus. Okay, so what happens, and then I also write here print plus plus. Okay, here I have a is equals to 10 and here again I have a is equals to 10. Okay, so but the value of both is going to be different. What is the change here, sir? Means like here if I print, the output for me is going to be 10 only. Okay, whereas here the output for me is going to be 11. Okay, so what is happening here? Let us understand. Okay, so here this is as you are writing the increment operator afterwards, it is going to print first then increment. Okay, so once you write this plus plus afterwards, it is called as post increment. So what it will do, it will first print the value of a, then it will increment. Okay, so the value of a is going to be remain 10 only, but in here, okay, in the second statement I have plus plus a. Plus plus a is pre-increment. Okay, so what is happening in pre-increment? In pre-increment it will increment first, then it will print a. Okay, so what is, hence we are going to get the value as 11. Okay, so there is small difference. Okay, so anyone who is new to this Java, okay, so just don't get yours confused. If there is little bit of confusion, you can neglect this. If you already good, okay, then it is compulsory, you have to understand we have 2 types of increment. Number 1 is pre-increment and post-increment. In pre-increment, the incrementing is done first, then whatever the task printing or scanning is done, then it is done. Whereas in post, whatever the task has been asked, like printing is done first, then the increment task is done. Okay, so this is what we have about printing, pre-increment and post-increment. Once we go into program, I will demonstrate this with the program also. Okay, so I don't have enough time for now. Okay, so just yes. Thank you for your doubt, Manasa. Okay, so this concept was also possible. I was able to cover. Okay, so then as we go, we have seen this increment and decrement. Okay, so yes. Okay, so I hope we have covered. Then we have the next type, which is relational operators. Okay, which I don't think we can complete this in today's class. Okay, so which we will be discussing tomorrow's class. Okay, so that is what we have for today's class. Okay, so yeah, thank you everybody. We will meet tomorrow at the same time, 7 o'clock. Okay, and the notes will be shared on the WhatsApp. Yeah, but doubt. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, yes. No doubts remaining. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, everybody.